Hey, this is Alan Brown, productivity coach, mess to success entrepreneur, and host of Crusher TV. Check out this compressed mini version of a Crusher TV episode. It's less than 10 minutes, and I guarantee you'll walk away with evidence-based, actionable productivity hacks you can use to get more stuff done in less time with less stress.
How would you like to lose 10 IQ points? Imagine if you could regress to the average intelligence level of an 8-year-old. This and more is all possible with the miracle of multitasking. That's right, multitasking is clinically proven to make you stupid. But seriously, I'm serious. Research at both Stanford and the University of London shows that multitasking can change the structure of your brain, make you less productive, and even lower your IQ score. In this episode of Crusher TV, we'll expose the significant costs of multitasking and show you a way to escape this habitual behavior that's become ingrained in our society, so you can decimate your to-do list. Because I'll tell you, multitasking is not doing it for you, even if you think it is. All right, yes, the costs of multitasking are somewhat abstract. You don't feel the pinch of it. You, in fact, get a rush of it. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And after all, why do one thing when you can work on many things? Here, though, is a tangible demonstration of how multitasking doesn't work. On a clean sheet of paper, you'll create 3 task columns: a numeric task, alpha task, alphabetical, and a shape task. Then you will time yourself filling in these columns, starting with the number 1 under the number, and then the letter A, and then the shape of a circle. And then you get down to the next row and you'll do the number 2 and then out B and then a triangle. Third row, 3, and then you mark C and then a square. And then fourth, 4, D, and then you go back to the circle and you'll repeat that pattern over there. And you will do this all the way down to the end of the alphabet. So you'll end up with the number 26 and then you'll write the letter Z and then you should end up on a triangle. And note your time. Then take another clean sheet of paper and this time do the number task first, 1 through 26, then do the alpha task and then the shape task. And note your time. The research suggests you'll be up to 40% slower in the multitasking exercise than you are in the single tasking version. Sure enough, my multitasking time was 36% slower than single tasking. And it really made tangibly, credibly real to me the difference between the two. So this leads us to one more thing to help convince you that you need to break up with multitasking and hook up with single tasking. Some brain science. Here are 3 very quick bullets on the brain science of multitasking. 1, multitasking is a difficult habit to break. Because of the immediate satisfaction of the beeps and the dings and the buzzes, and the novelty of switching to whatever interests you at the moment, multitasking gives you a steady feed of addicting releases of dopamine in your brain, which perpetuates your need for constant stimulation. This is a behavioral drug that's really tough to kick. 2, we've known for decades that the brain can barely process 2 streams of information, and more importantly, the brain can't effectively make decisions about them both. More about that in just 1 second. And 3, plenty of research, Yale, MIT, Stanford, elsewhere, has tried to prove that multitaskers can rewire their brain to allow such multiprocessing. None of the studies has proved out. But here's the main thing. When you're working on one thing, you have both sides of your frontal lobe, left and right, working on it for you. When you're working on 2 things, though, your brain basically gets split in half, with the left working one task and the right working on the other. So each task is only getting half of your brain. Okay, no big deal, right? But it gets a little more tricky when you take on a 3rd task, because the research tells us that one of the 3 tasks will now disappear from your brain. This explains why heavy multitaskers are far less efficient than light multitaskers. The question then becomes, if you're insisting on doing 3 things at once, which of the 3 will disappear from your brain and get no mental support? Okay, I've beaten you over the head with this multitasking is evil shtick, so thank you for hanging in there. Let's get to the part where I tell you how to stop the multitasking and get with the single tasking. Asking people to stop multitasking is, it's a big ask. And you're never going to stop multitasking entirely. But what you can accomplish are some single tasking sessions, which will be periods of hyper productivity. Let's say you have a really tough project or a clump of tasks. Stay tuned for our guest expert interview. Follow these 5 steps to single tasking success. Step 1, get turned off. Shut off all your emails. Don't just silence your phone. Put it on Do Not Disturb and actually put it just out of reach. Step 2, get in the now. We talked about this last week on episode 8. Acknowledge that right here in the now, there is no problem. Because if there were, you'd already be attending to it. Yeah, there's no problem here, man. I can now work on this one thing without worrying about any other thing. Because there is no other thing here in the now. Very powerful. Step 3, get in the mood. This is important. Get in the mood for single tasking. Create the awareness that you are now entering a period of doing one thing. Get that mindset. You could also ask yourself this question. If I were offered $500 cash to finish this project, but had to do it in some tight time frame, like 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, would I check my Twitter feed, my Facebook, or my emails for the next 30 minutes or hour? Probably not. That's the mood that you want to be in. So get in that mood. Step 4, get set, meaning get your clock set. Set your clock for 20 or 60 or 90 minutes, whatever's realistic. But still make it a little bit ambitious. Give yourself a little bit more time than you think you would need. I usually set myself 90-minute single tasking sessions. And step 5, get busy. Work the full allotted time. And every time you get the urge to jump off and do something else, say to yourself, that is not what I'm doing now. This is what I'm doing now. See episode 1, even if you've already watched it. Watch it again and make a habit of that brain hack. Put the 2 of these together, you are a badass productivity powerhouse. Let me tell you.
Hey, hope you liked that very abbreviated version of a Crusher TV episode. Most episodes pack lots more useful tips from me and my guest experts into 20 or 30 minutes. And we put out a new episode just about every week. As a member of Crusher TV, you can access any of over 50 archived episodes anytime, anywhere, from any device. Like episode 7, 1 weird trick to stop procrastinating. Or episode 19, how to have an extra hour each day. So check out CrusherTV.com and unleash the power of your brain.